This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP network.
This is episode 639 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast for November 26th, 2024. Hello, everybody. I am Michelle, your host for the day. So excited to be here. Got some fun things coming up. But I'm also excited because all of us are here today, which sometimes is a little rare, and I like my people. So my people are Lee.
Hello, Ron.
And Tracy.
Hello.
And Chris.
What's that? Michelle, it's nearly Burr, so we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
It's nearly Burr. I'm so excited.
And we are in a burr.
We are in a burr.
Don't say that because it's kind of freaking me out that it's cold in Orlando right now. I'm not happy.
Oh, dude, this is amazing.
No,
Are
I
you
don't
It's not going to
kidding
be
me?
cold for you.
Oh, he's going, we're going to have long trousers.
All I have seen is people in jumpers and jackets and woolly hats and trousers, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not Florida.
They're
for me.
natives.
Yeah,
They're
dude.
Okay, yeah,
They're
those are
These are
Floridians.
Floridians.
I literally sent a picture to, because I was talking to John the other day,
Oh, yeah.
and we went out for a walk, and it was the evening, and I think it dipped right into 70.
Oh my God.
So I had my
Goodness,
jacket on,
that's
I had my
freezing.
beanie on.
That's summer.
It was-
That's that's hot for us.
Yeah, so if you're seeing people dressed up like that in Orlando, I assure you they're
Fair
Florida
enough.
natives.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
think
You'll
what we are
be
now.
fine. This will feel like swimming weather to you.
Oh, I
You'll
hope
be
so.
good.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Well, for today, we're going to continue our ultimate ride ranking series, right?
Yes.
And for this episode, we're going to be ranking 2 out of the 4 attractions that are in Marvel Superhero Island. And we'll rank them on the facade, the story, if it's worth the average wait, the queue, and the overall ride experience. And those will be rated out of 10. Got
Not
it?
5.
No, 10. Even, look, I don't even get it. Michelle already took the out of me today over that.
All right. But before we get into that,
UUOP is brought to you by the Producers Club. Join today and get bonus episodes, chance to be guest host, be part of our awesome Facebook community, and more. Head over to uUOP.supercast.com to subscribe. Shameless plug.
I do like that.
It's so funny.
yeah. That's so awesome. All right. Well, let's jump in, shall we?
Yeah.
I think so.
Everybody
Shall.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to start off with the amazing adventures of Spider-Man. This should be interesting.
I think so.
All right, Lee, since this is one of your faves, why don't you start us off? What are your thoughts on the facade?
See, I've gone over this in my head already today. The facade for Spider-Man is a really interesting one because I've talked to people who literally didn't know this ride was there because the facade blends into Marvel Superhero Island. And it kind of does, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But other than, there's not a lot to it. So I'm going to give it a 6. Because it's cool, like the Spider-Man coming down off the front of the building and it kind of interacts with Doc Ock down the street, but it doesn't really stand out from the rest of the street. So yeah, I'm giving it a 6.
True. Okay. Chris.
I've honestly never thought about it that way, and now I can't unthink that. I probably would have ranked it higher, but I'm going to go with a 5 just because it's not bad. It's not great. It just looks like normal theming in Marvel Superhero Island. So
It does.
yeah, I mean, again, I think a 5 is like in the middle of the road. It's not terrible. It's not fantastic.
No, it's interesting. I was talking to my co-host on my other podcast where we're ranking
You have another
episodes of a
podcast? How
TV
dare you?
show. And it's like, people forget that 5 is like, it's all right, 5 is middle of the road.
It's average,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
that's good,
yeah.
it was okay. And yet, but people forget that. It's like 5's a bad ranking, yet really it shouldn't be.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not a 3.
I'm going to go next because I'm right there with Chris. So I'm a 5. Just like you said, it's middle of the road. I don't know really what else they could have done
No.
with the area, like where it is, like couldn't do anything massive or, it just wouldn't have fit there in that space. But because of that, you're right. Like it's pretty easy just to walk past it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nothing fancy. But that being said, like the whole area, like the whole Marvel superhero island is like themed. It's, it's Marvel threw up, so it's like the whole area is super themed. But if you just look at this one piece,
I think they should have added a ride vehicle outside for like a test seat.
Yeah, that's why I give it a 6, because it blends in, which is good, but then it doesn't stand out. So it's...
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Tracy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, everything you've said, take that on board. It blends in, but it's for me that's a good thing because it keeps you within the pages of the comic book.
Okay.
And it's very much in that comic book style. And it's, the Daily Bugle. It's also, if you step across the road, it's a great photo op.
It is.
Because it's really imposing. Yes, it's set back. But I think that's because that type of building tends to have it stepped back from the curb and everything. So I think that's deliberate anyway. I'm giving this a 6.
Okay.
I like this one. I was debating 7, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because you see, I don't understand how people say they miss it.
I've literally spoken to someone who
I know.
said they walked past it and didn't even realise it was there.
It's one of the biggest, most imposing facades there is in Marvel. So,
Okay.
yeah.
22 out of 40.
Okay. I think that's fair for the facade, and we're all pretty much in agreement on this one, which is rare.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The artistry's awesome on
yes.
Spidey, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. Well, let's move on to the story because I have a feeling this one might get a little bit more points than the facade.
You think?
I just have a feeling. So let's go backwards. Let's do Tracy starting this one.
Oh, I love the immersion of this one, and the story starts the second you step up to walk through those doors, because you're walking to that building and the queue line that story's building. You're going through the offices of the Daily Bugle that are all grey and abandoned. I'm still traumatized by the donut.
It looks like a great turd.
I'm surprised that Voodoo haven't done one.
That would be cool. A half-eaten Spider-Man doing
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's a grey donut.
That would be cool.
And then you get in the ride vehicle, and you're in a ride along, and it's just twists and turns, as we all know. And it's a story that it's a reporter's dream, to be honest. I think even though it's sold, I think it's a really strong story, and it's easy to follow. I'm giving that an 8.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
So that puts me up next. Okay, the story. Everything Tracy said is spot on. The cue is like you really follow it, right? It's really easy to understand, which in a lot of my other ride rankings, that was my big hiccup.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
a lot of rides that I even love, there's no clear storyline. This one has a very clear storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really pay attention to all the details in the queue, which is very detailed, it's very cool. Like it's, and shameless plug, not shameless plug, but 1%er story. I know somebody's going to say it, but I only recently saw the actual queue that's not the Express.
1%er.
Wow.
There he goes. Within like this past year, this is the first time I saw like the actual queue that has some of those spots that you don't skip.
She's like, what are these people in front of me? Can they move so I can ride?
I know. I was like, what?
This
What
queue's
is this?
so
I've
well
never seen
themed.
this
They've even
room.
got employees in the queue.
I know. Like, what the heck? So that including the entire queue, not just the express queue. It's very themed out, and it really tells you the story. And then when you get on the ride, like it's an easy to follow story. You know, you're in the scoop. You're going to chase the stories, and all this stuff happens, of course, along the way. And so that considering, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10.
Wow.
Because I think they did a great job telling the story.
I had my finger hovering over the 9 button when I was about to put it in the dock, but wow.
No, I'm going to give it a 10. I mean, it's not really about necessarily whether I love the story or not, but they did a good job telling the story.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris.
Yes. Story. I mean, you guys are basically hitting it on the head, right? It's a very traditional universal story where you're a cadet or a recruit or a person that is getting free labor to do the job of somebody else. So, from an overall story perspective, I'm a big Spider-Man fan and grew up with the cartoons and everything. I think they do a fantastic job at kind of telling the story, and also put enough little Easter eggs and things in there so that it has a lot of rewritability, I think, because you can always, even to this day, there's sometimes I just find little things when they're, going through the ride, like, oh, that's cool. Like that, nice little Easter egg maybe. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.
A 9?
I think a 9 is, like it's good. I mean, and again, it's not, I didn't give it a 10 because it's not, I don't think it went as far as, like, let's say, Escape from Gringotts, where they integrated like a scene from a movie that was established. So you're seeing another aspect here. You're more just kind of rehashing the antics of Spider-Man every time he has to fight these guys, and just reliving that, but from a reporter's perspective. So I think they did a fantastic job at knocking all that out. Just didn't give it a 10 because it's kind of rehashing stories.
Interesting.
Okay, Lee, what you got to say?
Give it a 1.
I'm going to go ahead and say, even though I prefer a certain other ride that's very similar to this one, I think this has a better story than that one. There's more of a reason for you to be part of this one than there is in the other one. You three have completely changed my perspective on where I was going with this.
Right. As soon as I said my number, I already regretted it. I'll say that as well.
Low?
No, it should have been one more.
It's all lower, yeah.
Come to the
no, it should not be low. Yeah, it was low, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a typical Spider-Man story, isn't it? The Sinister Syndicate have got together. Doc Ock made an anti-gravity gun to steal the Statue of Liberty.
Of course.
Whatever reason that is. I don't really understand what it's going to do with it. Like, I don't
put it on eBay.
I don't really understand that, but all right. And you're being recruited by J. Jonah Jameson, because of course he wouldn't pay actual people to do the work. He'd get you to do it. And it's a typical theme park. I'm going to give it an 8. I think when I did this in the car on the way home, I think I give it a 7. I'm going to give it an 8, actually.
All right. This next category is going to be interesting. So the next category is it worth the average wait? And the average wait, according to, what is this, waittimes.com?
Something like that. I can't remember specifically.
Okay. Good job. The average wait is 31 minutes.
Cue Chris going, no, wait, never 31 minutes.
I want to complain, but I'm waiting for my...
All right. Since you want to complain, go, Chris. Tell me.
No, at 31 minutes, it's absolutely a ride that you should do. I just never have seen it at 31 minutes. It's probably 30 minutes right now that I say that, but...
I'm going to have a look.
Yeah. Let's see. What is it?
I've for sure seen it 30 minutes or more. Yeah. Quite regularly.
I won't ride it if it's 30 minutes or more.
I'm just putting
that out there. If it's 30 minutes, we're usually like, just pop along.
You usually, and I just go along with it.
That's your own fault.
So, Chris, at 31 minutes.
At 31 minutes, I mean...
It's currently 40 minutes.
See? I'm right. I don't know. It's when we answer this question, it's a weird one. Like, do I answer it as a first-timer in the park?
No, you're answering it for you.
Yeah, but I've ridden it 1,000 times. So I agree with you that I wouldn't wait 30 minutes to ride this. It'd have to be really low. But I still think a 30-minute wait time for this is a good wait time for an average park goer.
How about this? If you have somebody with you that doesn't go often,
oh yeah,
would you wait and take them on it?
Sure, absolutely. So let's give it an 8.
Okay, Lee.
Oh, why'd you have to go to me next? 31 minutes isn't a bad wait time for Spider-Man, to be fair. To be quite honest, a lot of the times we've been recently, we've gone at quieter times, so I haven't even seen it half an hour in our last few trips, to be honest. And I'm kind of at that thing, even though we don't come that often, half an hour's like, we'll wait and see if it's a bit lower later. Or like when we rode it with you and Alexa and the kids, Chris, and it at like 10 minutes before closing, it was like a 5-minute wait. It is an interesting one, isn't it? It's like, how worth is Spider-Man worth a half-hour wait? So if you wait for half an hour and you rode it, would you be like, oh my God, that wasn't worth... No, you wouldn't. Especially for someone who hasn't ridden it a million times. You'd go, oh my God, like I did. The first time I rode that thing, I got off it and I was speechless. Yeah, I'll go along with Chris. I think it's an 8.
Okay.
I mean, even to your point, by the way, it's how old is this right now?
25 years.
25 years, and I think it still holds up, even 25 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have my comments on that later.
Okay. Tracy, is it worth the average wait of 31 minutes?
Yes. Quite honestly,
that's the fastest you've ever answered. Just want to document that.
Yeah. Well, I've had to sit through Lee waffling on, so I got to think about it.
Even waffle that much.
I'm giving it an 8. Because that line, you grab a drink and a little snack and you have a chat with your companions.
Can you take a drink in with you?
Yes, there's bins. There's whatever they're called over there.
Trash cans.
There you go. You know, get a press penny.
Throw away your water.
Yeah.
In your trash can.
But unlike many other rides, Rip Ride Rocket, there is something to do in that line. So 31 minutes passes quicker because you are entertained. So for that reason, I'm giving it an 8.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
Well, I will go ahead and stick with the crowd. I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
Woo!
Yeah, because mostly of what Tracy just said, that 31 minutes sounds like a lot. However, that queue is actually, there's a lot to look at. Not necessarily a lot to interact with. Like there's not things to do, but there's lots to see. There are some sections with screens to watch, and the only part of I'll talk about this in the queue. There is one section that is kind of annoying, but overall, an average wait of 31 minutes is not bad. And I think I would do that pretty easily. So I'm going to give that an 8.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's talk about the queue.
Which everyone already has, to be fair.
You're right. And I'm going to start that off because I just mentioned it. So there is one section of the queue, if they open it up to that, which do they open that up at the 30-minute mark of the extended queue?
No, I've only ever been in the extended queue once.
Okay. And that is not my favorite because you're in the sun a lot and that kind of sucked. But again, I've only been in that part once as well. So that aside, the rest of the queue is pretty dang cool to look at. If you're a Marvel fan, like Chris said earlier, there's lots of like Easter eggs and things. It's fun to kind of point out and find. And it just seems to go pretty quick, and you're indoors like the whole time. So it's nice and AC. So I'm going to give the queue an 8 as well. Okay. Tracy.
Yes. Yes. All of the above. All the reasons that I gave before. It's got a press penny machine in the queue. That is one of my favourite all-time things.
Yeah, fair enough.
More of that, please.
There is?
Yeah.
In that first, like the big, not the first room, the second room where the big scoop model is. Yeah. Well, there was the last time we went. Let's put it that way.
It had better still be there because I still need one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, for all those reasons, 9.
Ooh, okay. Good. Chris.
I am going to give it a gonna give it an 8, and that's like, I think it's a high score. I agree with, again, what we're all kind of saying here is it's a queue that has a lot of visual details to many, many things, and you can kind of like look through it. And also some of the rooms, especially think of like the photograph room or whatever they call that, where you develop pictures. I just love the way they did the rooms, right? Because these rooms feel like they're just in the comic books, which you are.
Yes.
Like that's what the whole Superhero Island thing is again. But the way they did it inside the queue doesn't look like just a room that is a photo room. It looks like a comic book panel of a photo room.
Yeah.
And everything else for that matter. And like I said, it's a lot of nice colors and stuff to look at. So I think 8 is right around where I'd be at.
Interesting. Because
Lee.
your guys' view of this queue is very different from mine. Like, yes, it's exactly themed to what you would want it to be. It's the Daily Bugle offices. But why is it grayscale? What was the thought behind that? Chris literally just said, it's very colourful, there's lots of colours. And I'm like, my memory of going through that queue is everything's grey apart from what's on those screens.
Because the cubicles...
No, there's not everything.
The cubicles are background. You think of comic book cells, it's unimportant information. The action is always in big, bold colour, and everything else is in grey in the backgrounds.
I need to pay more attention to this queue apparently when I go through.
Take that.
But that's still my opinion. I do like the room with the scoop model in it. That's pretty cool. I do like anything. Not that we've re-ranked it particularly high, but like the model of Jurassic Park in the River Adventure queue is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw it, but I know it's there. And the same with this with the scoop. I don't think it's the best queue, if I'm honest. I'd be hard pushed to give it anything more than a 7.
Oof. I'm glad I give it the extra 1 just to keep that average.
Sorry, guys.
You will be.
Okay. Alrighty. And last category, but not least, is the overall ride experience. Chris.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Overall ride experience. I guess I have to lean back on the other parts, right? Like the story is a very big part of that ride experience. So we already talked about that. Ride vehicle, I think, is great. I love it. I love the effects that they've done. Knowing how they do certain effects in there, like, going and doing my own kind of YouTube video watch and all that kind of stuff. It makes me appreciate the ride even more than if I didn't know that. And like I said, when we come off that ride, I've never had a bad, time. I just come off. It's like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Even though I've seen the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I would give it a solid 9.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a fantastic ride. I said it still holds up 25 years later, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Lee.
I knew you were going to go to me next.
Hi.
No, but as I have alluded to already, I think there is a superior version of this ride in the other park. That's my opinion,
Disney.
and I know I will get the one across the way. No, well, it's funny, Chris, when you were saying about the ride vehicle made me think, isn't there an Avengers attraction or something getting built somewhere, and the ride vehicle, I think, Chris, you posted in our group chat, is the scoop vehicle. Like, that ride vehicle is very familiar, that they're still using that vehicle 25 years later to build a new attraction. The technology of that ride, again, is phenomenal. Like you kind of alluded to there, Chris, with the squinching, because they had to work out a way to move through a 3D screen, is something they had to figure out, is amazing. But I don't think the 3D is as good as it was when we first rode it. When it changed over in 2012, was it? When they went from the old film projection to the digital 3D projection, I think it lost a lot. Because you don't get that. 3D cinema was always about things popping out at you.
That's what she said.
And I don't think you get that with digital 3D. It's more about it looking like you're looking through a window rather than things in your face. Like with T2 3D, stuff came out at you, and you don't get that with it. And I think it loses a lot because of that. I still like the ride. I will still ride it multiple times when we go, but I can't give it more than a 7.
Okay.
Send your hate mail to podcast@uuopodcast.com.
I'll address it.
Because I'm sure I'll get it. I don't care.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. Well, first of all, Lee's getting a slap after recording. Everything that's been said. Plus, I mean, yeah, this ride's 25 years old. It's still innovative. It doesn't feel like a 25-year-old ride. That technology is amazing. And when you look at the detail that it's, people scream, "Oh, not another screen-based ride," but with all the set pieces around it, you don't really notice that it's screens you're going into. Each scene's a screen. And then with the interaction between the scene and the ride vehicle, like when you get electrocuted or, there's water effects and everything.
Yeah.
It's a very, very clever piece of tech. And we've all seen the behind the scenes of the development of the Scoop. And that is a phenomenal vehicle. It's always a fun ride. I don't care how many times I've done it. I've always got to count the stands. And it's I'm a little sad that since the 3D change out that you were talking about, Lee, when you do that final drop and you get saved, it doesn't get me anymore.
No,
and I used to brace
every time, and now
and now it doesn't. So it has lost something there. So for that, it's getting a 9.
Okay. I know something you talked about, the effects and stuff, that it was quite a few times that I rode it when I realised that when you first see Spider-Man at the beginning, when he swings in and he jumps onto that ladder is an actual physical ladder. That effect is
I love that.
Probably the best effect in the whole ride, quite honestly. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I agree with everything just about. I love the fact that it is an old ride that still feels new. I don't remember that I ever rode it prior to it changing.
Really?
I don't think so. 2012. No, I don't think I did. So I don't know it any different.
Okay.
I still love it. To this day, I still get excited when I'm boarding the ride. Like I love it. It's one of the rides I have to ride every time I go to the parks.
Yeah.
I love that ladder effect, and it feels like there's still, like, every single time I ride it, there's something new that I can look at. That ladder effect, I didn't know until you guys said something about it, and I was like, "What are they talking about it?" And then when I went back, I was like,
yeah,
that is really freaking cool.
Because it's
it's done so well that you think it's just the video.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily realize that it's very cool.
Yeah. And then when I found out about all the stands, that's really cool. There's a few other little Easter eggs in there that one of my VIP tour guides told us one time. I don't remember what they were, though. There's like some nods.
Yeah, there's an Iron Man like graffiti on the side of a building. I think there's an Oscorp building somewhere. There's quite a few little nods like that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one of the things that's nostalgia, just for me and Krissa, there was a time where, and I think it still does that, where the fire effect sometimes doesn't work. And that's one of our favorite moments in the ride. And so now every single time we ride it, we're like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? And then when it works, we're like, yeah. So we love this ride. And because I always make it a point to ride this ride, I'm going to give it a 10.
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought you were.
Just want to point out, having ridden through it when it's broken down, there's been no.
Yeah, we have seen that.
No screens on. Really gave us another level of appreciation for that ride as well.
The bit when you get shot by the anti-gravity gun and you're going up the buildings with no screens on, it makes you realise how very easily your brain is fooled, because it literally, the Scoop vehicle's tilted at less than 45 degrees. The actual building scenes are moving and you're getting blasted with cold air, and it's crazy.
Very clever.
You don't feel it when the screen's not on. As soon as you put the screen in, it feels like you're lifting up. It's mental.
Brains are dumb.
Funny.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Well, that does it for that ride. So
that gives
you want to give us our total?
156.
Ooh.
Right. which is interesting. That puts it currently in third place.
You know, I put 3 fingers up to Lee. I don't know why I knew that.
Behind Forbidden Journey and Velocicoaster, and
Ooh.
above Hagrid's.
What?
Yep.
I think that's
Wow.
fair. I think that's fair.
Above Hagrid's.
Yeah.
That's so
by
crazy.
quite a bit as well.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Not too angry
right.
about it.
No.
No, I mean, that's okay. I still, if I just compared the two without all of this breakdown, I would 100% say Hagrid's is
Of
better.
course.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's not. What was the ride that we ranked way too high from the beginning?
High in the Sky Zoo
The-
Trolley Train Ride
the
or Cat in the
trolley.
Hat.
Yeah, this is beating
Yeah.
that, right?
I mean, it's not far behind Hagrid's, let's put it that way.
That's true. that I am mad about.
I'm not complaining
No, I
about
know
that
you're
at all.
That's hilarious. Okay, well, let's take a quick ad break and hear from our sponsor, Portkey Vacations.
I wish to go to Universal.
Right, off you go. We'll beat to the edge of the Forbidden Forest.
Where can our vacation wizards take you? Just tap the Portkey at portkeyvacations.com and let the magic begin.
Welcome back. We are going to continue on our ride ranking of Marvel Superhero Island. And up next, we have Doctor Doom's Fearfall.
This is going to be interesting.
Okay. All right. Let's start off with Lee. Lee, tell us about the facade.
So, like, let's just establish again. We've had crap for this online before. What we're classing as the facade is basically what you can see from stood in front of the attraction. It's not the facade technically, but whatever, right?
Right.
So this one, basically, you see everything that ride has to offer. Because if you're stood in Doom Alley, you've got the entrance with the Doctor Doom head. It's his head. It's his head. The entrance, isn't it? I think if I remember rightly. With the big fans, and then you can obviously see the two towers going. Like, what more do you want, really? Is it amazingly well themed?
Don't you see those at the top of those behind the building?
What?
The towers are behind
Yeah,
the building, yeah.
but they're also like 100 foot above the building, so you can
I
still
know.
see them
Yes.
if you're stood.
You can hear everything.
Yeah. It's not amazingly well themed, but it's pretty cool. It kind of goes off what Michelle said about Spider-Man. There's not an awful lot else they could have done with it for what it is. So as far as theming for what it is, it's pretty decent. But if we're ranking these all together, I think I'd give it a 6.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, Tracy.
0.
She doesn't know because she hasn't ridden it for about 10 years.
I can talk about the facade at length because this is the one thing I do see a lot of.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Obviously, I think it's perfectly located down a little seedy
So cool,
alley.
yeah.
The coloration of it, I think, is done really well because villains don't want to advertise where they are.
No, that's true.
So,
I've never considered that.
that kind of... So it I know that these are... we'll go comic book colours here, but, those deeper tones that
It's
they
his
use...
colours, isn't it?
Yeah. It kind of... It blends in with that industrial feel of everything. Yeah, like you said, there's not a lot. I tend to look at everything else in the alleyway while I'm waiting.
Because it's pretty cool down there, to be fair.
It is. There's some really cool stuff down there. I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
Okay. I will go next because I am going to give it a 5 as well. I don't ride this. I have ridden it one time, a long time ago.
One time.
So dramatic.
So I do, and my family doesn't even ride this very often. But I've seen the facade. It's cool to watch, to see the towers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you couldn't see the towers, but the thing I like about it that even gives it a 5 for me though is the nighttime colors on it that's very pretty at night.
I don't think I've ever been down there at night. So much we've never done at night.
Look, I'm never going to fight you to go down to Dr. Doom's Fearfall. So,
At least you can
Well, I think
observe the
that's
outside.
because you don't really come during the summer though, when it stays open later.
Yeah,
so.
That's true.
But it does have a really pretty lighting package on it. But other than that, it's there's nothing that amazing that stands out. 5, Chris.
I totally agree with you. I don't remember it off the top of my head, the lighting package, but when I was looking around on pictures of the facade, I saw the lighting package. I'm like, yeah, would love to see that, but unfortunately, we don't get that opportunity very often. As far as everything else on it, I think the aesthetics of it, I think Tracy mentioned that, is very much Doctor Doom. It's almost steampunky, industrial.
Yes.
Yeah.
It blends well for what it is. Probably shouldn't put a giant sign on your secret lair, but that's fine.
Yeah. Hey, nobody said villains were clever.
Yeah. But I think they did the best that they could do for what it was. So I am also going to give it to A6, just because that light package, I think, pushes it a little bit further.
Okay. Light package.
Cool.
Heavy package.
Too many jokes.
Love a good package.
That's not
The
true, though,
story.
Michelle, is it?
I don't love a good package.
Exactly. Me either.
The story. Now, you guys are going to have to start me off on this because I don't even know what the story is. So, Chris, do you know what the story is?
I do.
Okay, tell me.
And I think I just want to preface with, I think Doctor Doom is very misunderstood because in this story, he's actually helping you. He is extracting your fear out of your body. And now you just walk around fearless. I mean, how is that a villain? Now, of course, he is going to use that fear to destroy the Earth, but that's
it's at its time.
But you're fearless. What do you care?
Right?
True.
Yeah. So I think he's a good guy, but I mean, there's not a whole lot, like I said, going on to the story. It's just literally he is extracting your fear and putting it into a weapon. Is it a gun? I think. I know they say something there, but it's basically a weapon to take over
And destroy the Earth.
Because that's what he doesn't want to destroy the Earth, does he? He just wants to take it over. You wouldn't want to destroy it because then you've got nowhere to live.
He should work at Monsters Inc. Yeah, they do
I was
that
just
over
going to
there
say
too.
Monsters Inc. That's what I was waiting to say here. Monsters Inc. did it better, I think.
Yeah, and they're treated as all right, aren't they?
Yeah, but they moved over to laughter.
Fair enough.
You know,
Dr. Doom's
He'll laugh at you after he destroys the Earth.
and the cute.
Okay, so what do you rank it?
I'm going to give the story a solid 4.
Wow. 4.
A solid
all that,
4,
a solid
A hard
4.
4.
Lee.
Why do you keep going for me second all the time? It's again going like off the back of Spider-Man. It's just a typical theme park story, isn't it? Like a comic book theme park story that he's created this device that will extract your fear, which will help him power whatever it is, his microwave or whatever, so he can have his burrito. I don't know what it is. Yeah, there's a reason for you being on the ride vehicle, I guess. So it's like a lot of attractions don't give you a reason. Like, I like a story behind the ride, but what I want is for you to be, like Spider-Man did, to be a reason why you're there. Rather than just like, oh, this is going on, and you just happen to be in the middle of it. Whereas this gives you a reason to be part of it because he needs to extract your fear. So I'm going to give it a 5. Because I think it's all right.
Okay.
So are we volunteering to have this done? Like, how do we get caught up in this?
Well, hang on. In events that are, I was going to say similar, this has never actually happened as far as I'm aware. But in real life events, it's similar. People don't wait and just decide they're going on a ride along. Things just happen in real life.
Not
so
real,
I think it's,
it's just
I think it's supposed to be like that equivalent. Oh my God, I'm defending it.
No, because you go through the queue.
Keep going, Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds generic.
Because it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got nothing really except I was just that I got 4.
4? It
Yeah.
would be interesting to take all the ride stories from all the rides at Universal Orlando and see how different they actually are.
I guess I'll let you know in Brr whether I change my mind.
Whee! You heard that, everyone?
I did promise.
Yeah,
I
well,
did
I'm
make a
riding
promise.
the one we're talking about in the next show, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Michelle's sitting next to me.
What? Did I promise?
I think so.
you
I
did.
remember that. Chris,
You
you
did.
remember hearing that, and I've got it on
I'm
audio.
gonna,
so.
I'm gonna need to hear that clip.
Okay, I'll fish it out for you.
Hey, I've got
Roll
your.
the ad.
I've got Michelle. I've got your back over Rip Ride Rocket.
Yeah, she won't make you ride that if you ride Dr.
I'll
Doom
fight for you
otherwise.
for that one. So you don't have to ride that.
Wait, I'm gonna need to hear the clip where I said I was going to ride this ride because my butt puckered quite a lot when you just said my name.
You see, the thing is,
I really don't want to ride this. but I'm
Michelle's
gonna.
just literally said, I want to ride this ride, so I can just clip that out and go, there you go. See, you said it.
You shouldn't have said that. You should have just done it.
Doesn't matter, the clip's there now, so it's fine.
I'm gonna trust you, Lee. Though don't betray my trust.
Look, I could have said I want you to ride Rocket, and I haven't, so Dr. Doom's not that
No,
bad.
I'll make sure you don't have to ride that one. I think the
I
four.
won't promise you that's such thing,
Is
but
it four seats in a row?
3, isn't it?
3. I thought it was 4.
I think it's 3, isn't it?
Oh, that's a
Screw
shame.
that. I don't know, y'all.
You have
I
me on
don't
one
know.
side and Tracy on the other, and you can be in the middle. That's
Where's
fine.
Chris sitting?
On his own.
I've got Audrey too, FYI.
Sorry, Chris.
And I'm sure Alexa's gonna be around. No.
Yeah,
Alexa
she
will
does
have the
not
baby.
touch this ride with a 10-foot pole.
Lucas might
I was
ride
gonna say
it.
Lucas will watch all the
He may.
bags.
Oh yeah, he will. I always love riding this. So
Cool.
Good Lord. Okay, let me talk about the story. I don't know the story. Even with you saying it, it still doesn't make that much sense to me. I guess. Why am I getting on the ride though? If I know that he's about to do this to me, why am I willingly getting on this ride?
Because
So
you
you
paid
can become fearless.
$110 to get in.
Because I want to become fearless? That's
No, because it cost you a fortune to get in and you want to make sure you ride everything.
I'd
Homer
rather ride
Simpson way?
Spider-Man twice. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 1.
A 1?
Yeah.
wow,
I don't know the story at all.
wow.
Wow.
And
I didn't think it was that
Michelle's
bad.
got more balls than me.
It's not that bad.
But I don't ride this ride. I don't go on it. And
don't need to go
just
on it
sitting
to know what-
outside, I don't see the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, you're not... Okay. I can't be asked arguing with you.
No. I'm with Michelle here.
Let's save this for the after.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. How can I give it more than that when I don't know the
fair.
story?
We've just told you the story.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You
It
did say
doesn't
you
sound
couldn't
that
really
fun to me
remember.
the
There
way
you
you
go.
told it.
I mean, I'm not Dr. Doom, so I can't tell you. Anyway.
Well, maybe Dr. Doom needs to be talking to me outside the ride, convincing me to go in.
I don't think he's that bothered.
Okay, well then his story sucks. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Where's my popcorn?
Okay. All right, let me go with the next one first. Worth the average wait of 12 minutes. I'm going to give that a 1 because I wouldn't ride this even if it was 0 minutes.
I agree with Michelle. Because for me
I
to ride,
I think some people would, but I won't. So there we go.
for me to ride that, it's literally got to be a walk on. Because if I stand and think about that ride, I am not riding it.
I guess you're going next then, so what are you giving it? A
Just
1?
told you
Go for
one.
it, Tracy. Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, Chris.
I am going to give this I'm going to give it a 7. I definitely think 12 minutes is worth the wait. I love this ride. I said it already. I'll say it again. If you're into these type of rides, every time we walk by, I always tell Alexa, like, hey, let's check it out real quick, see how low the wait time is. And if it's low enough, I'll just ride it real quick while she waits.
Yep.
It is one of the few rides in the park that still get that tingly
That is very
stomach
true.
feel out of it. Like
Yes.
it's not even like by accident. It forcefully gets it out of you, which I love about that ride. I can ride it 100 times, and every time I feel, that pit in my stomach kind of, do its thing.
Yeah, I get it.
So Yeah.
I literally could throw up right now thinking about riding this ride.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
I'm
good.
the same.
It's so good.
Which, considering I will ride just about anything, this is the only type of ride I can't ride.
Interesting, isn't it?
Oh, shut up, mister. I couldn't even ride the carousel.
I did ride the carousel.
Yeah, under sufferance.
All right.
So sick thinking about this. I need to end this episode real fast. Okay, Lee.
I don't know where to go with this because
Up and down.
generally, if it's more than 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm not going on 10 minutes. But 12 minutes is like just above that because it's literally from the launch to getting off 20 seconds. It's a hell of a 20 seconds. That's what she said.
She didn't.
I wish. See, you've never had that 20 seconds then, obviously.
No, I'd be spoiled.
We have a very similar ride at our local theme park, Flamingo Land, which does exactly the same as this, other than once it drops down after that initial launch and then drop, it does the little bounce and then takes you up to the top and holds you there and then does a full drop. And I wish this did that.
And I can do that. I can do drop. I can't do the shoot up.
The shoot up's the best bit.
I can't do that. That's what makes
So you said yours does a shoot up and holds?
Yeah.
No, it does exactly. It does exactly the same as Doctor Doom. It will launch you up to the top, then launch you back down.
That's awesome.
And then hike you to the top, hold you there for 10 seconds, and then do a full drop.
See, I love drop towers. I don't
It's
like
awesome.
whatever the opposite of a drop tower is.
It's not even as high as Doctor Doom, so I can't imagine. The view from the park is phenomenal if you get the right seat on Doctor Doom as well.
So this one shoots you up and then just automatically starts dropping you and then up and then down and up and down.
No. It pushes you down. You don't drop. It's not
this
a
one
gravity
shoots
drop.
you up and pushes you back down?
Yes. So it's a faster than gravity drop. So that brief period of weightlessness at the top is awesome. I completely agree with Chris. It is the only ride in the park that gets me, like, not nervous, but like he said, that thing in the pit of your stomach, like, oh my God, this is quite intense.
Yeah. Like even right before riding it too.
Yeah.
I really don't think you're going to get me on this. Just going to set your expectations now.
I'm going to 7. I agree with Chris. 12 minutes is nothing.
Right. So how tall's Dr. Doom?
It's like 190 feet, isn't it?
Right. So I've done a 230-foot drop tower.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of me, and it was amazing. That was at Lottie World in Seoul. In fact, I was with Grace and Bree.
All right, yeah. Name drop.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So any height drop tower, absolutely fine.
Yeah, you just don't like that.
I mean, all I'll say is the blast from that, people in line, their hats and ears and things were getting blown off from the...
their ears got blown off?
Yeah, the ears got blown off, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they're like, the headbands and things.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's how intense that one was. It was so good. But yeah, Dr. Doom, no thank you.
Okay.
So I just looked up Tower of Terror, which is like my limit for drop rides.
199.
And that one, and that's 130. And because it is indoor too, like that's one of the other reasons I'll ride it. That one gets me.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. That category got a big 16. Woohoo!
It got more than the one previous.
The queue. Whoop. Tracy.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't
Tell me
remember.
about the queue if you can.
Do you take bags through the line with you?
Yeah, because you just dump them by the side when you get on.
Why do I always remember not being able to see then?
See what?
Anything, because I didn't have my glasses on.
I don't know.
That's weird. It's dark, it's dingy, that's all I remember.
When was the last time you rode this? Like 2013 or even before that?
Probably before that.
Wow.
I don't think I've ridden it with the kids.
Wow. So 2005.
I remember nothing of the queue. So I'm giving it a 1.
A 1? You can't, just because you don't remember it doesn't mean it's a 1.
Okay, it was dark and I couldn't see anything.
Because you had,
I
whatever.
didn't have my glasses on.
Michelle,
the best
can
way
you
to
please
ride.
go next?
What?
Can you go next, please?
Me go next?
Yes, please.
This is
Okay, well,
that's only so
I'm
him
going to give it
and
a 1 as well because
No, that's
I've
why.
been on the ride. It's been a long time, but I have no recollection of
There you
it
go.
whatsoever. So it made no impression on me.
That's why I wanted you to go next, because I knew you'd say exactly the same.
and then
Okay.
and then him and Chris can inflate their scores to make
I'm
it
not
look
going to
better.
inflate my score. I
I'm
will
not
tell you
stupid.
exactly what it is. I don't care where this ride ranks.
All right, tell me, Lee, what is your ranking? Tell us about the queue.
So the queue, there isn't much to it in my memory. There's a room with a lot of Doombots in there, which is pretty cool, to be fair. And then I think you go through a room, like up a ramp, and there's a massive screen kind of telling you the story of Doctor Doom coming from Latveria. And there's like a weird cartoon character. I can't remember what he's called. It's kind of similar to the Doofus and Do Right thing over at Men in Black. It's very similar style to that. And then you get on the ride. And so there's not much to it, to be honest.
Right, is that amount of space long enough for a 12-minute wait?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's one of those. Chris, you learned the test. It's a terrible loader. It doesn't matter how many people are in that line. There could be 4 people, and it will still be a 10-minute wait because it's just horrible at loading.
100%.
Yeah, it's awful.
Why? Because they have to go around and check seatbelts.
Yes, because they get everyone in and they have to check it and then close the doors and then it's a horribly, horribly bad loading attraction.
Sometimes they're sitting for like a couple minutes in the seat.
Yeah,
maybe if somebody on the other side isn't, having issues or whatever.
It's terrible.
It's pretty bad.
I would, if I got all the way up there to the ride and buckled in and still had to sit there for 2 minutes, I would literally my pants. They would have to take me off the ride and clean the seats because I myself.
I never realized what a fanny Michelle was.
That sounds like a podcast live to me.
Yeah, Producers Club.
Honestly, hearing all of this, it's putting me off.
Ignore her.
No,
Michelle doesn't.
Not just Michelle. No, what Chris has just said.
Michelle herself riding Velocicoaster. Come on.
I must admit,
No,
I
I don't. I will
Yes, you
still
do.
ride Velocicoaster.
Yeah, but you have said you get nervous every time you go to ride it.
Yes.
Still,
Same.
give over.
But I still
not a
ride
bad
it.
thing. There's good nervous, there's bad nervous.
I'm giving it a 4 anyway for the Doombots more than anything because they're pretty cool.
Okay, Chris, redeem the ride if you may.
Solid 12.
It only goes up to 11.
This one's a weird one because I've ridden this many times, and I actually just watched the walkthrough video again. But this queue feels like a lucid dream to me. Like it's hard. Like Lee kind of was going towards that of like, yeah, there's this here and that, but it's just like it's very dark in there, even though there's like a lot of accent lights and black lighting and stuff like that. I think it's cool on the inside, but it's not like an amazing queue. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a 5 because it's like it's not terrible and it's not great, but I bumped it up 1 just because, like I said, it's a weird queue to go through, and I feel like it's almost like a child designed it of like how they read comic books.
Yeah,
but not in a bad way. I'm having a hard time describing this.
All I can commit to is walking through the queue and then going down the chicken aisle after we actually get to the loading zone. That is what I will commit to.
I don't know why I've got images of
I'll
Walmart in
take
my head.
you
There's a
that
chicken
and just
aisle.
muscle her on it. Like just stand in the way so she can't get out.
I'm stronger than I look, sir.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Nope, you won't. Okay, next, the overall ride experience. Lee, tell us.
Again, it's a good ride. The queue's all right. The ride itself, for what it is a decent ride. If that's what you like, then it is intense. As Chris and I have both said, it is one of the most I would say, if not the most intense ride in the parks. The only thing that I would say potentially pushes it is maybe Hulk, maybe Velocicoaster. But it's a horrible, as I've said, a horribly bad loading attraction. It's horrendous. It's as bad as Pteranodon Flyers when that was going. And it's over. I think you spend more time, see if Chris agrees, you spend more time once you're strapped into the ride vehicle, sitting and waiting,
We had a discussion about that. Were you here?
and then once you come back down sitting and waiting, then you actually are during the ride itself.
Oh yeah,
That sounds excruciating.
agreed. But it adds to that anxiety.
It does. That's true. Yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah.
I got enough anxiety. I don't need something to give me more anxiety. I really don't.
I'm going to give it a 5 because again, 5's it's all right, isn't it? It's not a bad attraction. It's a 5.
Okay. All right, Tracy, hit us.
-12.
You can't have -12.
What's the lowest I can have?
You need to be American anyway. It needs to be -12.
I'm very negative about it. I hate everything about this ride.
I mean, you could.
So the fact that I am going to ride this, in fact, I've decided that
Who's talked you into this, Kelly?
No, my
'Cause
own
Kelly's taught me,
stupid
you know.
head.
Has anyone give anything a 0 so far? Does anyone remember?
That's what I'm asking. Can I give it a 0?
I mean, I guess.
You could.
Yeah, go.
Honestly, I really, really, really do not want to ride this ride. If I ride this ride, I demand and expect a pin celebrate the fact that I rode this. So
That would be funny, yeah. Can you imagine rocking up to
I
guest
want that,
services?
yeah.
I want
I want
a first ride in
No,
20 years on Doctor Doom
first and last.
without vomiting.
Yeah. The anxiety I get from this ride, I don't enjoy being on it. I don't
never
enjoy
felt
the
any.
ride. It feels like it lasts for a week.
It really doesn't. That's the problem.
And it's just like, nope, really, really hate this ride.
I want to go on it and go, oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
No, you said that last time, and I didn't. I came off and said, no, I still hate this ride.
I love it.
So I'm giving it a 0.
Wow. I think this might be our worst ride at the park at the moment, but we'll see.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give mine. I'm a 0 too.
I bet she wouldn't have done if Tracy hadn't given it a 0. She'd have said
No,
1.
I was going. That's why I was like, nope, you can give it a 0. That's fine. I'm going to give it a 0. I have 0. I have ridden this one though. I have not ridden Rip Ride Rocket.
I know. That's why
I have ridden this one, and I can say 0. I don't like it. It doesn't give me the good kind of anxiety butterflies. It's not enjoyable from the moment I commit to doing it, from the moment until the moment I am feet on the ground and being unstrapped. I am hating life entirely. So
Yes.
Oh,
All of this.
me and Chris are sat there thinking, oh my God, it sounds like riding it with Tracy and Michelle would just put this up to a 10.
Yeah, I think we should just write it, period.
you should put some nose clips on because you will smell at some point if you make me get on this ride.
We're gonna write this in Burr, and we're gonna have
I
the
agree.
phone
I think we should.
just streaming to the Producers Club, and you can leave it there on the ground and watch us go up
Yep.
and down.
And everybody around better back up because there's going to be throw up too. So no, I'm not getting on it.
All I'll say, Michelle, is
Nope.
compared to this, Rip Ride Rocket is an absolute piece of.
It really is. I would agree with that.
Chris,
Yes. I'm going to agree with Lee and give it a 5.
Okay.
It mainly because while I do love this ride and I try to go on it every time we get there, and for all the other reasons that I said as well, it's still just a tower ride at the end of the day, which there are other places and parks that have that, right? So it's not like a unique thing that only Universal has. And because of that, I give it a 5. Not the best thing in the world, not the worst, but I do enjoy it.
all right.
Okay.
All right, what's our total?
That gives it a total of 74, putting it...
That's 73, far more than it deserves.
This feels really bad. So it puts it joint
Bottom.
third bottom,
We've got 3
Oh.
on the bottom.
right?
With.
So currently the Carousel is bottom.
Oh.
And then one fish, two fish,
No,
red fish, blue
I'm
fish.
rioting.
And then this is joint next with Flight of the Hippogriff.
I want to change all my scores to
That's
0.
Crazy. Crazy. Okay. Get me off this ride real fast because my stomach hurts. Tracy,
Yeah.
please bring us some joy. Tell us some birthdays.
So your stomach hurts too much for birthday cake, Michelle?
At this moment, yes, actually it does. But
dear.
somebody else gets birthday cake.
They do indeed. Okay, we've got 3 Producers Club birthdays for you this time. And we're going to kick off with December the 5th. It's Rob Hoffman's birthday. Happy birthday, Rob!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
And on the 8th, it is Ramiz Alos' birthday. Happy birthday, Ramiz!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
And then on the 9th, last but not by no means least, another art name. It's Rob Steer's birthday. Happy birthday, Rob!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Feliz cumpleaños, Rob.
Happy birthday, everybody. Have lots of cake.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
I do enjoy these.
That was
I don't.
I do.
I'm glad this episode's over. So much. I need to go take an anxiety pill, a Xanax or something.
An anxiety pill.
Yeah, so that is going to wrap up the podcast. Don't forget, we want you to rate the Freeze Ray Pops and send in your recordings, as well as sending us your How Bad is Fast and Furious Supercharged jokes. You can send all of that to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. Until next week, bye.
Are you insane? Get out of here. The curse, it's real. The podcast is over. So, the Magi want you to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. For all the podcast news and articles, check out our blog at uuopodcast.com. Contact us by emailing us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. And if you want to join the Producers Club, email us at uuopproducers@gmail.com. Silence! With your subscriptions, we shall rule for all eternity. Listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Not even the Magi can save you now. There is no escape. Your end shall be my beginning. Prepare yourself for your next trip by emailing Michelle at portkeyvacations.com. She can take care of all aspects of your next Universal Orlando vacation. We hope you enjoyed your podcast. Please remain seated and keep your arms and legs inside the Prepare to Forfeit Your Souls. Check out the other podcasts on the UUOP network. Rush of Fear Halloween Horror Nights podcast, the theme park duo for all your West Coast news and info, the Taste of Universal, Universal Orlando Food podcast, and the newest podcast on the network, the Port Key Passport, our Disney-centric podcast. So hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. I would have enjoyed this podcast a lot more if I had gotten my cup of coffee.